What's up, guys? It's the Transylvanian, back with another video. And remember before when I said that I do not miss? I do not miss, ever. Never ever. And if you're wondering what this video is about, it's none other than false Metal Finn Mckenty. That's who it's about. I've called this dude out before for being disingenuine, and I knew it. Biggest snake oil salesman on the platform, and he admits to it himself. In a recent interview, basically saying that, he's quitting his channel, moving on, because he made a bunch of money from it, and all the metal bands and punk bands that he showed off on his channel, he didn't even know anything about them. He admitted to looking them up on Wikipedia. This dude was getting down like he was writing a high school fucking essay. I mean, dude, that's the biggest poser I've ever heard of in my entire life. I mean, dude, there is no way that, and I feel bad for the fans that actually thought this guy was genuine. I knew it from the beginning that this dude was a poser, just like many of the other channels I've called out before for doing the same thing. And that's popular metal channels or even punk channels, because he covered a little bit of both on his channel, that only show off popular bands because they're getting views. And that's exactly what he did, and admitted to it. And it doesn't surprise me, because he didn't know anything about these bands that he was talking about. Even the bands that I rip on, bands that I absolutely hate, stuff like Pantera, Slipknot, bands that he put on his channel, I've actually heard their music. Those were bands that I heard as a kid and hated for just how shitty they were, and for how false metal and fake that the bands were. I didn't look them up on Wikipedia. He's never even listened to those mainstream shitty bands. And just basically made an entire video on those ones and whatever else he had. That's probably why his black metal video was so shitty and got clowned on, because he basically just shit on black metal and said he didn't like it and doesn't know why anyone would like it. It's like, of course you wouldn't like it, Finn, because black metal's for real men. And you, a guy who dated a high school age girl in his 30s, I don't consider that something a real man would do. Hate to break it to you. That sounds like something a chomo would do. It's not something a real man would do. And I'm having a feeling that might be another reason why he's quitting his channel, because those allegations have been out there for quite some time. And it's funny about that, I didn't even know about that stuff, because, I don't follow the guy. I had just seen a couple of his videos in the past, and like, oh, this poser. I didn't know anything about his personal life, but the trolling channel, JB Bob, the guy who, it's like the SpongeDog channel, he makes fun of J-Dog's channel and has the SpongeBob shit on there. He made a video where he pretended to interview that clown and put that in there, and I was like, oh, is he just messing around with that, or is that true? And it ended up being true, because I've seen it in a bunch of comments, even on the video that I saw about this, about that guy basically dating a 16-year-old when he was in his 30s. Yeah, dude, that's hanging out with the creeps, is what that's doing. That's weird shit. That's just straight up weirdo shit. So I have a feeling that's another reason why he wants to step away, because it seems like that information is being leaked too, so who knows, but if a bunch of people are saying it, it's probably true. I've heard a lot of people tell me that as well, about that dude, that he was a creep. Doesn't surprise me, because he's just so disingenuine about everything. So if he was that weird, I would not be surprised by any means whatsoever. But back to the actual topic at hand, aside from that personal stuff, the main part about it is, it's exactly what I talk about. He is the type of people that I talk about when I say posers who don't know shit about metal. He is one of them. And there's many just like that. Like, yeah, researching mainstream bands, doesn't even listen to it, and puts it on his channel. That's what mainstream metal outlets do. When you look at like any mainstream metal label, something like Metal Blade or some garbage like that, Earache, yeah, those posers probably don't even listen to half the bands that they get. They're just selling them because, oh, it's gonna make us money, man. Line in their pockets, that's all it's about. That's the music industry as a whole when it comes to the mainstream. Just like, all the bands that I rip on all the time, like these mainstream metal bands. Why do you think I rip on them so much, dude? Because they are disingenuine. They're not true metal fans. They probably don't own anything on physical format, and they most likely can't name you like 5 underground bands. That's a poser. Hate to break it to you, but that's the truth. And that's the thing. Like, when I started my channel, I started off doing only collections. So I was just showing off stuff that I owned. And, the rants and all this kind of stuff that I do now kind of came later. Because it was just stuff that I was thinking about, and I don't know anybody in real life to really talk about this shit with, aside from my group chat. So, yeah, that's kind of why I brought these type of videos to the channel. And it did gain me a lot of views, but I didn't make rants to gain views. That's the difference. I made rants because it's stuff that I actually know about, stuff that I've known for years, and decided to just voice my opinion on it. And it got some backlash. I think that's partially the reason why my views have been kind of sucking lately, because so many channels have made videos about me, trying to make it seem like I'm the worst person in the world because I'm calling out all these posers. It's like, no, I'm calling them out because they're so fake about this stuff in general. They're not even into this shit. And if that doesn't, at least bother you a little bit as a true metal fan, it just surprises me, because it's like, dude, these people are so disingenuous when it comes to this stuff. And that's what I see with a lot of the big metal channels in general, not just his. He's one of many. I've called this out before. Big metal channels that they won't show off a band that's controversial because they're afraid that they'll lose viewers, or they won't show off underground stuff because they're afraid they're not going to get enough views. I do it all. I show off whatever I like, whether it's popular, whether it's known by 10 people, whether it's controversial and people are getting their panties in a knot over it. I don't care what it is. I'm showing off stuff that I like. That was how I started this channel in the first place. The love of black metal, and showing it off, and just kind of talking about it as a lifestyle, because that's how I view it. And not even just black metal in general, real metal in general. That's why I'm always talking about real metal and busting on the core kids and the new metal wigger rap with a guitar crowd, because that's poser shit. And none of those people in those bands know anything about real metal. At least most of them. Some might, because I've heard people say that Phil Anselmo actually knows something about real metal, which, I mean, he might. I don't know the dude personally, don't care, but I heard the band and hated it. Thought Pantera always sucked, never liked it. Just didn't. But I would never make a video about a band that I've, never even heard of. That's just retarded. Imagine that. Making videos about bands that you don't listen to and that you've never heard before, and then just looking up an article and giving a synopsis on who they are. That's like reading the back of a book and not even reading the whole thing, like reading the synopsis on the back of a book. Yeah, so you're getting the rundown. It's like reading a review for a movie and not watching it. It's poser shit, is what that is. So anyways, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.